Hey there guys, what's going on? It's Gale right here, back on the 5-9 channel with the Chapter 73 review of the Dragon Ball Super manga. And of course, I had to bring somebody new for this one. You know, we're gonna try it and differentiate it a bit from now on. We're gonna bring in new guests as well. And today with me, I had to bring Stray. Stray, say hello, mate.
Yo, what's good? What's good?
Alright, how are you doing? How did you find the chapter? Let's just get some general thoughts in. How did you find the overall chapter?
As a whole, it was amazing. Like, the artwork in particular, just the visual style, the angles and stuff, loved it. I like the forest aesthetic, very cool. A bit different to what we normally get in sort of like big open plains. So that was nice sort of change. And yeah, just since obviously, you know, Toyotaro's taken his own direction, it's really just like stepped up a notch in terms of like what he's able to sort of bring to life now, I think.
Definitely, and especially the first 10 pages, effectively. I was going to say 10 panels, but the first 10 pages was just literally just panels of nothing but action. So yeah, like you said, it's super impressive to see how Toyotaro's improved over the, you know, last couple of years, I would even say, right? Since he's picked up the manga, of course, and made it his own, like you said, his own direction with the artwork and whatnot. Of course, Toriyama will help him in terms of small corrections here and there, but you can easily tell that this is Toyotaro, you know, improving and getting to this level. How did you find the first 10 pages? You know, it was just pure action. You know, there's so much. Like, I personally was looking at this and I was like, if the movie wasn't actually supposed to be something different from what it looks like, I really wanted them to do like the More arc and then into the Granola arc, because this will look amazing animated, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Like I said with the forest aesthetic, like if you obviously when you know what you're looking at, it's fine. But if you just sort of show it, if we get a panel just flash up on screen, it will look quite cluttered with all the trees. But animated, it will look even like just gorgeous. Like all of this, honestly, every panel, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, to be honest, this could all be like a Dokkan or a Legends artwork. Like every single panel has that like, that sort of dynamic like look to it. It's just it really is like next level from Toyotaro for sure.
Definitely. I also agree with you on the whole factor of like, you know, them not being on the plains anymore, or, you know, open fields, mountainous areas, you know, stuff like that. It's rare that they ever go into this more constrained area. I mean, you could argue the last time they went into a somewhat constrained area, I suppose, is when they were in the cities or the destroyed cities in the, you know, Goku Black Saga, I suppose, or even, let's say, the constrained arena of the Tournament of Power, right? But even then, I wouldn't say like it's proper like dense or anything in particular. This felt good and looked cool as well. For the first time in a long time, we've seen something of this sort of an area, right? Of course, we then move into Goku obviously chatting a bit with Granola about, you know, Blue plus Ultra Instinct, which of course, I mean, I'm still not, you know, I was kind of like, I don't know about you, Stray. Of course, this was something we discussed in the last chapter, of course. You know, we were talking about the whole combination factor. You know, you know, there's been this whole thing of like, oh, you know, when is he going to treat Ultra Instinct kind of like, you know, Kaioken is, like, as a technique, right? Where he's just applied it on top of the Super Saiyan transformations. How did you feel about it? You know, I haven't seen your thoughts on it. Of course, me and Omni gave our thoughts on it. How about you, man? How did you feel about the whole thing of him already being able to apply on it like quite early, surprisingly? I wasn't even expecting it to be so soon, you know?
Yeah, I think you're right. It's one of those that's like, it was so cool as its own technique, and now they're applying it and stacking it in a lot of different ways and different forms and stuff like that. But I think it's interesting how they're adding special like different limitations in terms of like the capacity in which you can use it. So it's like, okay, so now I'm doing like, cause he says like, I'm stacking it with blue basically.
Yep.
Now you're gonna get, you know, now you're gonna get wrecked, fam.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how because that's confidence, right? That's not like, oh, I'm gonna try it like he did with the Kaioken times 20, right? It's like, no, I am gonna kick your ass now. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
It's like he's got this new sort of confidence with it, which suggests that he's definitely getting to that sort of next like tier of power with stacking it all.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. What do you think?
No, I completely agree with you. It's something that was kind of going to happen inevitably. I'm just surprised it was so soon, right? That was
so fast.
Yeah, but I do believe. I mean, to be fair, we've had so many time skips in between, right? Like the Moro arc happened immediately after the Broly movie. Like the moment Goku teleported back, I mean, instant transmission back from Planet Vampa to Earth, the whole Moro arc kick-started. But in between the Moro arc to now, there's been so many periods where Goku's trained, Vegeta's trained. So I'm not entirely surprised, but at the same time, in terms of our, you know, our version of time, I suppose, or our time zones, you could say. It's just been so quick, right? Compared to like
Yeah.
us looking at Ultra Instinct in the Tournament of Power or something. So definitely a bit quick in that regards for sure. Obviously Goku and Granola keep fighting, and then Vegeta comes in, and because Goku got blown away to Vegeta, or he teleported to Vegeta immediately after getting hit by Granola, and they're chatting a bit, and we finally see what Vegeta thinks about Granola, and it's basically what we already know. Thanks, Vegeta.
Yeah,
super impressive.
Yeah, he tells us nothing new. He doesn't add to anything that we already knew. He literally is just there to basically regurgitate everything we already heard before. But to Goku this time.
The only thing that Vegeta manages to point out is that they realize that the heaters, or Maki and Oil in this situation, because they're the only two ones there, is basically, they're the ones who kind of, effectively told them one thing, but, it's actually another thing. They lied to them, basically. Played them for fools, as Vegeta said, right? So that jig is up. So now we have to wait and see what the heaters do in the next coming chapters as well, right? Because now that they said the jig's up, that means they have something planned out and that they're gonna start putting that into action, right?
True, yeah, because he even says he says there's no turning back now. So that either means that obviously he's under the protection of Granola, or they've got some sort of like arrangement, or they've got their own sort of separate plan. Overarching all of this, which is
it's going to be interesting to say the least. It's going to be very, very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what they have to offer us, of course. The one thing that the immediate next page said was that Goku immediately said, I still haven't whipped out Ultra Instinct at full power. And it's like, but that was the whole point of your training, was to not rely on this perfected Ultra Instinct, which he's treating as a form, right? So I'm surprised that that's still the ultimate Ultra Instinct form, whereas him combining Ultra Instinct with... So does that mean he's been combining Ultra Instinct Omen with the Super Saiyan powers? Do you think that's the case?
I think, it's one of those that's like, I could see them pull it from anywhere now. They could say, it's like somewhere in between. It's like a sliding scale, however they want to push it. But I totally agree now, because now they're treating it like, I know it's a technique. I know it's been specified as a technique, but they're treating it like a form now. They're treating the silver-haired version as a form, but Ultra Instinct as like a concept can be applied wherever. And so now it's like, he comes back into the battlefield with this white silver-haired form, and it's like, okay, this is, you're treating this like a final, like, I'm going to come back with my newest,
strongest form, basically.
Exactly.
However, it does have its flaws. He does say he can't maintain this for too long, which is something that we already kind of know, because we did mention in a previous chapter that isn't how you're supposed to use Ultra Instinct, because it's not supposed to be a form. It's supposed to be a technique. You're supposed to master it, and you should be able to use it whenever, wherever, without a lot of drainage in your energy, right? So your body needs to adapt to it and everything, and clearly Goku hasn't yet completed that part of his training just yet. This is still in a phase where Goku is still adapting to this perfected Ultra Instinct form, and he's not able to adapt to it. And then, of course, at that point, it becomes a pretty much one-sided fight against Granola. He's pretty much wiping the floor with Granola. Well,
he even kicks his little... He even kicked his little headband off as well.
His effectively scouter, or the what's the word? I say magnifying glass. It's basically a sniper scope, I suppose, is the best way to put it, right?
Yeah.
But Vegeta is like surprised that it was over so quickly, and it's like there's no way. And he notices the power level didn't drop, and then he realizes, wait a second, that's not the right Granola. And Granola even mentions then that he didn't lose. All he did was split his power, and he basically made a clone / illusion. I think they specified as a clone. And then he says an illusion. And then basically that's how he split up his power. And then he immediately comes in and just one-shots Goku. I swear. One thing I will say before we go on. I swear, Goku has been punched through the chest like 5 to 6 times, I swear, in Dragon Ball Super. I don't understand why this man lets his guard down so easily in this series, especially.
Well, yes, but also like it doesn't actually show his face when he gets hit, but he was in Ultra Instinct when he got hit. At least it's assumed. If this is perfected Ultra Instinct, surely it's autonomous. He should have dodged that, right? So are we suggesting that Granola moves faster than Ultra Instinct? Is that what this is trying to like imply? Because
and that's
in theory, he should just auto dodge that, right?
And
he knocked him out of Ultra Instinct in one hit.
And that's a very good point, because we've been assuming all this time, like, okay, there's no way the dragon made him more powerful than Beerus and Whis and, you know, whatnot. He's just probably a bit more powerful than Goku and Vegeta. Is it at this point where we do consider the fact that he may be a bit under Beerus, maybe, or as strong as Beerus? Because I understand if you can't make them as strong as Whis and the Angels and stuff like that, because they're basically on the level of, you know, they're crazy over there, right? Like we can't even talk about them, but maybe the gods of destruction is Granola on that level? What do you think?
I'd say so. I mean, well, maybe not in terms of like raw power level. In terms of like Beerus, what he's probably capable of, I don't think they would write him that way.
Yeah.
But in terms of what we've seen Beerus do, I think he's that's way more impressive than anything that Beerus has done. Like hitting someone in Ultra Instinct is something that we've not really seen anyone do, to be honest. I mean, very few people.
The one thing we do know is that we still don't know Beerus' full power, right? That's the big thing. Even in Battle of Gods, he said, oh, I'm at like 60, 70, 80, something like that. Let us know in the comments section down below about what he said, how much percentage he used in Battle of Gods. He was lying. I will straight up say that. That guy was goddamn lying, bro, because there was no way Beerus was at 70% or whatever he was at in Battle of Gods, and now Goku's like super crazy powerful, and that's what and this is the situation. There's no way.
Exactly.
Granola then goes on to say, I decided to have you fight that clone in order to save my strength from Frieza. Bro, I think that clone could have kicked Frieza's ass. I'm not gonna lie. I
guess it's interesting because it shows sort of how out of touch he really is to not understand that Frieza is far below Goku and Vegeta now.
It's crazy, you know? It's crazy. And then another thing he mentions is something that we spoke about before the recording, which you have a bit of a concern with, is that Goku's accuracy dropped over time in that silver-haired form, or in particular the perfected Ultra Instinct form. How do you feel about that?
Like, I get it, like his power drains, or you know, it's exhausting on the body. When have we ever seen him become less accurate as time goes on in Ultra Instinct?
We've noticed it being a very instantaneous like combustion, right? Especially if you look at the anime format, right? In the Tournament of Power, against the fight against Jiren. To be fair, we could assume that maybe Goku in that perfected Ultra Instinct was just much stronger than Jiren, but we never saw it decrease over time. It was just an instantaneous drop. Like he got hit with the after effects of the of being in that form for too long. But I do agree, the accuracy drop was something that even surprised me a bit. But I did test it or link it with the fact that the power over time was dropping. Even Goku said it tires him over time. So I did a test, link it to that. But I do agree with you. It's just a bit odd, right?
Yeah, for sure. But I guess it feeds into the whole Goku saying he can't sustain the form for long in terms of like the powering down from it. But yeah, the fact that it says his accuracy decreases over time in that silver-haired form, that's new. Either it's a retcon or it's something that we've just not been privy to. But it's not something that we've ever actually seen happen before. So that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Do you think it's to sort of bring Ultra Instinct back down in terms of like stopping them from just scaling it way too out of hand, or do you think it's, I don't know, do you think it's just going to become like a feature?
I think it's going to be a tentative thing right now until Goku. I think it's in line with what we said about the Ultra Instinct technique being a technique, not a form. And the more Goku uses that as a form, I think it's a drawback of a form. So once Goku manages to master both sides of Ultra Instinct as a technique and not as a form, maybe then we won't see that drawback. But I think as of right now, as long as Goku uses it in that silver-haired form, I think that's when we'll see it.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's but then Vegeta decides, you know what, enough's enough.
Yeah.
And he flies in and says, nah, forget about him. You're dealing with me. And he does that thumbs up, that iconic thumbs up, which means he's going to get his...
He needs to stop doing that, bro. He needs to stop doing that, man. He's about to get his ass whooped next episode, man.
Well...
Or next chapter, sorry.
The only thing I'm thinking is maybe he's pointing that thumb at Goku laying on the floor.
Oh,
As
he
he'd
is.
say that guy.
I think he is pointing at Goku. But I mean, you could have used your finger, man. You could have used something else.
Yeah.
Don't use your thumb, bro.
That's it. He's gonna get destroyed next chapter now. He's gonna get the upper hand and then he's gonna get absolutely mollywopped, and we all know it.
To be honest, I will say this artwork of Vegeta, he looks very. I don't know if it's just me. Maybe somebody in the comment section might be able to say it's just you, Gale. It probably is just you. But I feel this Vegeta artwork, especially in those last two pages, pages 4 and 45, the last two pages, in those panels, he looks very similar to like Saiyan Saga, Namek Saga Vegeta, or even the pre Cell Game Saga Vegeta, like the more sinister, more evil, like proper Saiyan looking Vegeta, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So it's a slight. I don't know. I think they've started to incorporate it more in just the general character designs anyway. But it's so the way that they've drawn him is very, very similar in terms of like the angles that they've used, the expressions that they've given him, and also the way that his eyes are drawn. He's definitely got much more like he looks like quite sly and quite cunning now, wouldn't you say? Like rather than just like I'm also strong too. He's now got this like sort of like edge to him where he looks. Yeah, I like it. I'm all for that.
Yeah, it felt like the Vegetas of the... Maybe it's just something I've not noticed in the manga, potentially, and I'm maybe just misremembering it. Maybe I'm just hallucinating a bit, but it just feels a little bit more... It's a lot more sharper, I suppose is the best way to put it, right? But yeah, he just goes all in. He just said, basically... He acted like a proper Saiyan there. Just basically said, I'm just gonna eradicate the last of the civilians, and that's you, my G. So I wonder if we'll probably see Vegeta's Hakai for the first time in the next chapter, which is going to be good to look at. I think
that'll be
one thing to note, I didn't notice this actually when I first read the chapter. I just noticed it now that I'm looking at it. If you look at the last panel where he says the tribe that's about to go extinct is the Ceruleans, look at the earring. It glows a bit. It shines. There's that little sparkle.
Oh.
Which is, I'm interested. I didn't notice it, but that's something to point out. I had to point that out. I just noticed it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're probably going to see a bit of a Hakai shenanigans going on, I suppose, in the next chapter, which I'm super excited about. Next chapter, obviously, July 20th. But yeah, I think, this chapter was really well done by Toyotaro. I think it was good. I do have a couple of issues. I mean, Granola just seems way too powerful, so I'm curious to see how that's going to be handled. Of course, it's going to be very, very interesting. Do you think we'll probably see Vegeta completely fight Granola? Or do you think there's a chance that Elec and what's it called? Who's the other guy? Gas? I think it was, Gas. Do you think Elec and Gas will come in and interrupt the fight, and then maybe by then Gas has wished for the dragons to become the strongest as well, potentially? Do you think that's a possibility?
I like the idea of that. I think something's definitely going to interrupt the fight for sure. Because like the way that they're building this is like basically two people very proud of their own race, right? It's very much like that final panel, the tribe that's about to go extinct, literally. I mean, if you ignore Broly and maybe Tarbell if you count him. But like, it's like, it really is like whoever wins, if this was to be the absolute finale, is literally going to go extinct, whoever loses. And it's like, they can't, like, I think they can't kill off Granola while he's got so much like heat on him. And also that they're not going to kill off Goku Vegeta, right?
It's gonna...
Unless they do, because I mean, they're not. That's the one thing that Super's not done, is actually kill off Goku properly.
I mean,
maybe
we still have to get Frieza, man. I swear, he's been in this whole situation for the last two arcs or something, and bro, I swear he's still not existing. Where the hell is he? I don't know, but
that's who's gonna interrupt the fight. I'm calling it. Frieza.
Frieza? Do you think
I don't know why he would.
I mean,
he's gonna just drop on this planet where everyone hates him and also is more powerful than him. It'd be a terrible move, but I could see him do it.
It's interesting to see as well if Whis or Beerus maybe giving their thoughts on what's happening as well, especially Whis, having trained Goku. We've kind of realized who's training who, basically Whis being the trainer of Goku and Beerus training Vegeta to an extent, of course, with the Hakai and stuff. So it's gonna be very curious to see like what they think of the battles going on as well, if they're looking at it even, right?
I bet they are.
Oh, 100%. I think at least Whis is. Maybe Beerus is asleep, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, let us know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of the chapter? Of course, we have a different perspective to some of you guys. So it would be lovely to see what you guys think of the chapter as well. And yeah, thank you, Stray, for joining me for this chapter review. It's a pleasure to have you on. Of course, leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more anime and manga content on 5-9, as well as a lot of other stuff coming on the 5-9 channel, hopefully soon. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Peace out.
See ya.